Did you hear about the guy who got hit in the head with a can of soda? He was lucky it was a soft drink. Yeah, that's a really bad joke. But can I tell you, there's nothing funny about our sugar consumption when it comes to soft drinks. Do you know the average North American consumes over 216 liters of soft drink? That's 57 gallons of soft drink a year. That amount of sugar is toxic to the human body. And yet, weaning yourself off of soft drinks, I know for many of my clients over the years, it was the hardest thing. I'll tell you a story about one of my clients who flew me over when I was living in Australia to North America, to the States, to do a lifestyle makeover. He knew he was killing himself, drinking himself to death. And after working together for 2 weeks, we managed to get him off the alcohol, get him nourished, not just with the food, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And he wasn't actually craving alcohol. But one of the things he said the hardest thing to give up, harder than alcohol, was soft drinks, and in particular, diet drinks. So we know research is showing us that anytime we have artificial sweeteners in our soft drinks, it's even more toxic and dangerous, particularly for our brains, than sugar. Although in amounts and variations, it really doesn't matter. None of it's good for our body. So weaning yourself off of soft drinks is different for every single person. What I find is that there are those who just absolutely need to do 100% abstinence. And when people are in the deep, deep, deep throes of sugar addiction, I highly recommend that. Okay, when particularly if you have a chronic condition or a life-threatening condition, that's the route I recommend you go. But some people, it's not that kind of dangerous for them, it's not that critical, and they also have a little bit of resistance and natural kind of rebellious personality, and so they need some kind of tips and tricks to get off of the soft drink. So one of the things I highly suggest is, and has worked for different clients I've had over the years, is the next time you have a soft drink, fill it to 3/4 full, and then put the rest of the glass, fill it with spring water, natural spring water, not club soda, because although that's not sweet, it has tons of salt in it that you don't need. Okay, so sparkling spring water. Then the next day when you go to have another glass, if you're having it every day, and most people are struggling with this, or people who are having it every day, fill half of it with the sparkling water and half with the soft drink. And on the third day, you want to then have 1/4 of the soft drink with 3/4 of the spring water, sparkling spring water. And what happens with that is you're going to start to slowly acclimate your palate to something that's less and less sweet, so that when you actually do go back to a full strength drink, has a very striking impact on your palate and your body. Another thing that I do with people to get them is a lot of times they want the sweetness from the soft drink, but they also like the fizziness. And so what I get them to do is to get sparkling mineral water and fill it up with 1/4 of a glass of freshly squeezed juice of your choice, or some fruit. Like if raspberries in season, take 1/4 cup of raspberries, mash them up in the cup, and then fill it up with the spring water. Berries are fantastic for that. Just fresh squeezing things like tangelo or lime or grapefruit, and then filling it up with this sparkling spring water is a great way to kind of wean yourself off. And a recipe that I like, that's kind of a variation of the cold cure video that we did, is basically you take the ginger and you grate it on the microplane grater. Okay, so you get lots of ginger and grate it on the microplane grater, and you squeeze out the juice. Now, I'm kind of hardcore nowadays. I actually have the pulp and everything, but for some people that's a bit too much. They don't like the bits in it. So I squeeze out the juice from the ginger and place it into a little dish. So then what we do is we take a lemon and squeeze the juice out of it, place it into the cup, grab our ginger, our squeezed ginger juice, place it in the cup as well, and then I give it a little bit of sweetness. Typically what I would use is maple syrup or honey, but there's also coconut palm sugar nectar that you can get, which is minimally processed, which is another good alternative. And literally you just put a teaspoon in, you work it in with, if it's honey, you need to kind of work it in, make sure it's a raw honey and really good quality, organic, sourced from people who are treating their bees well, not drugging them, okay? And basically just mash that up into the ginger juice and the lemon juice and top it off with some sparkling spring water, and you will find that you have a beautiful dry ginger ale. And if you want to make it a really good kind of tummy tonic, you can put a few drops or half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar into it. And that's just a great kind of sipping drink to appease that that desire to have like a fizzy drink effect. Look, if you are seriously addicted to soft drinks, my lemon juice, dry ginger ale is probably not going to entice you unless you start to develop a palate for it. It's just about slowly finding the tactic that works for you and finding alternatives that actually work for you. Again, if you're going to have this lemon ginger drink and you're going to drink gallons of it, yeah, it's going to be better than drinking gallons of the soft drink or with artificial sweeteners in it. But the idea is really for us to hydrate with water. And particularly if you can find spring water, it is the best thing to hydrate yourself. And then you get used to using water as my tool for hydration, and then fizzy drinks or something like that as celebratory drinks. They're not something that we have every day. And what you'll find is if you can start to make those switches both in your habit and in your thinking, you will truly be on the path to sweet freedom.